Welcome to the Sovereign Frequency channel. I'm so glad you're here. And I don't say that lightly. If you're watching this, it's probably because something deep inside you whispered, "This is for me." Maybe you've been carrying around this quiet, nagging feeling like you're doing all the right things, you're checking the boxes, handling your responsibilities, and from the outside everything looks fine, but inside it feels like you're running in place, like life's stuck on repeat. Sound familiar? Here's the thing, this isn't about fear, it's not about motivation either. And it's definitely not because you're lazy or incapable. Let's just put that myth to rest right now. Most people think they feel stuck because they're afraid, or because they're unmotivated, or because they just haven't found the right strategy yet. So they keep asking the same questions. How do I get motivated? How do I stop procrastinating? How do I push past resistance? But if that were the real issue, you'd have fixed it by now. Because you're not someone who shies away from responsibility. You're someone who shows up, who follows through, who does the work. So if you're still feeling stuck, it's not you. It's the questions you've been asking. And today, we're flipping the script, because once we start asking the right questions, everything, including that stuck feeling, starts to make a lot more sense. Ready to dive in? Let's go. If you've been feeling stuck for a while, I know you've tried to fix it. You've probably pushed yourself to be more disciplined, more consistent, maybe even forced to smile and tried to think positive. You've watched the mindset videos, read the habit books, and built routines that were supposed to get you back on track. And sure, maybe some of it worked for a hot minute. But then that old, familiar stuckness crept back in. Here's the truth. It's not because you failed, not even close. Your willpower isn't broken. In fact, it's doing exactly what it's designed to do, conserving energy because something deeper doesn't feel aligned. It's not a flaw. It's a signal. So let's stop blaming ourselves and start asking, what's really going on here? Because the answer isn't more hustle. It's something way more meaningful. Here's the thing. Fear isn't what's keeping you stuck. Fear actually just shows up after something already feels off, like a warning light on your dashboard. And motivation? It doesn't just vanish into thin air. It steps back when the effort you're putting in stops feeling meaningful, when it stops aligning with what's true for you. Your nervous system isn't lazy. Far from it. It's smart. It's efficient. When something in your life isn't resonating with you, when it doesn't feel honest, your energy naturally fades, focus gets fuzzy, action feels like pushing a boulder uphill. But here's the good news. You're not broken. This isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign that something deeper is calling for your attention. Motivation doesn't create clarity. Clarity unlocks motivation, and that's where the real magic begins. So let's get curious. What's really asking to be seen here? Here's what's actually going on. You're waiting for certainty. You're waiting for proof that the next step is safe, that it's approved, that it won't shake up the identity you've worked so hard to build. And honestly, that makes total sense. You've been taught, maybe even trained, to believe that responsible action only happens after you're 100% sure. But here's the kicker: real life doesn't hand out guarantees. And that stuck feeling, it's not because you're not taking action, it's because you're playing by a set of invisible rules. Rules that whisper things like, don't move until you're absolutely sure. Don't choose unless someone else validates it first. Don't trust yourself without permission. Sound familiar? The truth is, you don't need permission to trust yourself. And that's where the real freedom begins. So, what if you gave yourself the green light today? Ever notice how systems don't really tell you no outright? Instead, they quietly teach you to second-guess doing anything that isn't already approved. They reward predictability. They call hesitation being responsible. They make waiting seem like the mature choice. So when you start to realize something's off, when a little voice whispers, "This doesn't fit anymore," taking action can suddenly feel risky. Not because it actually is dangerous, but because you haven't gotten permission. The system doesn't need to hold you back by force. It just needs you to pause long enough to doubt yourself. You know that feeling of discomfort? Here's where it really comes from. Change doesn't just mess with your schedule or your job. It tugs at your very identity, the you that other people know and expect. When that familiar version of you starts to shift, your whole nervous system takes notice. It doesn't always scream in panic. Sometimes it just whispers, "Hold on. You're not stuck. You're not broken. You're simply in between. No longer the old you, not yet the new one." And that in-between space, it can feel really strange and wobbly until you realize what's actually happening. Feeling stuck doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're aware of something, but you haven't quite given yourself the yes to move on it yet. You see the path, but you're still waiting at the trailhead. And that pause, it's not the problem. The real trouble starts when we try to force ourselves forward before we're ready. But the moment you stop fighting that hesitation, that's when things begin to lighten up. The old rules start to feel less rigid, because when you have that kind of clarity, you don't need more motivation. What you really need is your own permission. So, what can you actually do? You don't need a perfect checklist or a grand 5-year plan right now. Honestly, you don't. What you need is to simply start noticing. Ask yourself, where am I waiting for someone else's green light? Where am I demanding total certainty when I really just need my own inner yes? And then listen. That next right choice, it probably won't shout. It often feels quiet, steady, and deeply honest. True alignment isn't about a booming voice giving you orders. It's more like a quiet relief. It just takes the friction away. The path feels smoother, not because it's easier, but because it's yours. First, you find that clarity, then the right steps will follow naturally. Don't wait for the fear to vanish. True movement begins the moment you stop looking for permission and start trusting your own power to choose. That feeling of being stuck isn't a weakness, it's a signal. It's your inner strength waiting for you to take command and lead the way. The instant you recognize this, the walls you thought were holding you back will start to crumble. You are far more powerful and free than you realize. Now go forward and claim your path. I'll see you in the next transmission.